There are moments in human history when the world holds its breath. Moments when a single soul dares to step beyond the known, into the vast, unforgiving unknown. Most people spend their lives inside safe boundaries, between comfort and certainty, between fear and the familiar. But there are a few, very few, who refuse to live small. They are the explorers. Men and women who looked at the horizon and whispered, "There must be more." They did not chase fame nor riches. They chased truth. And in that pursuit, they faced the impossible. Number 1, Marco Polo, the Pathfinder. In the 13th century, when the world was divided by walls of ignorance and distance, a young man from Venice dared to walk across the unknown. Marco Polo left behind his home, his comfort, and the known edges of the map. He crossed deserts that swallowed caravans whole, mountain ranges that pierced the sky, and empires whose languages he did not know. Every step tested his will. Every storm questioned his purpose. But he kept walking, guided not by maps, but by curiosity. He became the first bridge between East and West, bringing back stories, spices, and ideas that would change civilization itself. But his greatest discovery was not what he saw, it was what he became. Because to explore the world, he first had to conquer his fear of it. As the Stoics would say, the obstacle is the way. Marco Polo didn't run from uncertainty. He made it his teacher. He learned that truth lives beyond fear, and that the man who walks into the unknown learns who he truly is. Number 2, Ferdinand Magellan, the endless sailor. A century later came a man with a vision so wild, even kings called him mad. Ferdinand Magellan believed he could sail around the entire earth at a time when many still thought the edge of the ocean was a fall into oblivion. He set sail with 5 ships and 270 men, and faced storms that broke masts, mutinies that tested loyalty, and hunger that drove men to madness. Yet Magellan pressed on, because courage to him was not the absence of fear, it was obedience to a purpose greater than fear. He never made it home. He was killed before seeing the journey completed. But his vision lived on. His crew finished the voyage, and humanity learned the truth. The earth was one. That's the Stoic lesson. You may not see the end of your dream, but if your cause is true, your spirit will live through those you inspire. Magellan's voyage reminds us that greatness isn't about reaching the destination. It's about refusing to turn back, no matter how endless the sea becomes. Number 3, Roald Amundsen, the polar conqueror. Centuries later came a man who walked where even the sun dared not shine, the South Pole. Roald Amundsen was not reckless. He was precise, disciplined, and calm. While others rushed for glory, he studied, prepared, and waited. He understood what the Stoics taught. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. His rival, Robert Scott, raced with emotion. Amundsen moved with reason. When Scott's team perished in the cold, Amundsen's discipline carried him to the pole and back alive. He didn't conquer the South Pole. He mastered himself in the silence of it. Every frozen step whispered the truth. Control your mind, or the cold will control you. Amundsen's victory was not loud. It was quiet, measured, and complete. A triumph of discipline over desire, of stillness over chaos. And in that frozen wasteland, he proved that endurance is not about muscles, it's about mastery of the inner storm. Number 4. Sir Edmund Hillary, the mountain soul. Then came a man who looked at the tallest mountain on earth and refused to bow. Edmund Hillary wasn't born into power or wealth. He was a beekeeper from New Zealand, a quiet man with an extraordinary will. For centuries, Everest had killed all who dared challenge it. But Hillary and Tenzing faced it with humility and courage. Every step near the summit felt like walking on the edge of life itself. Thin air, frozen lungs, and exhaustion beyond words. When he finally stood on the top of the world in 1953, Hillary didn't shout or boast. He simply said, "We knocked the bastard off." Because for him, the victory wasn't over the mountain. It was over fear, fatigue, and doubt. The Stoics would have smiled at his calmness. They taught that we cannot control the mountain, only our response to it. And Hillary embodied that truth. His climb was more than a conquest of nature. It was a meditation in motion. Every breath was a dialogue between man and eternity. Number 5. Yuri Gagarin, the man among stars. And then came the moment when humanity left the Earth itself. Yuri Gagarin, a humble Soviet pilot, was chosen to be the first human to journey into space. No one knew if he'd live. No one knew if his spacecraft would return. Yet as he rose above the clouds, his heart was calm. He looked down upon the Earth and said the words that would echo forever. "I see no borders from up here." That's what courage looks like, to risk everything, not for conquest, but for perspective. In that single orbit around the Earth, Yuri Gagarin redefined what it meant to be human. He didn't just explore space, he explored the infinite capacity of the human heart. Like a true Stoic, he accepted fate, embraced uncertainty, and smiled in the face of the unknown. His journey reminds us that the greatest frontier isn't outer space, it's the inner universe of the human heart. Marco Polo crossed the known world. Magellan circled the planet. Amundsen walked across the white silence. Hillary stood above the clouds. Gagarin flew beyond them. Each faced different worlds, but all faced the same enemy: fear. And they all won. Because true exploration isn't about maps or miles. It's about mastery of the mind. Every explorer teaches us a Stoic truth. You cannot control the sea, the mountain, or the storm, but you can control yourself. The greatest journey is not across deserts or oceans, but through your own soul. So when life throws storms at you, remember Magellan's faith. When the world feels frozen, remember Amundsen's calm. When the climb feels endless, remember Hillary's endurance. And when fear clouds your sky, remember Gagarin's smile. And when your path feels uncertain, walk like Marco Polo, with curiosity as your compass and courage as your map. Because every great explorer faced the impossible and found themselves.